great piece of work. What's amazing to me, Barney, is how much is in there. I've read many books on Matthew, and you're right, they bring out great principles. They tie it together with some scriptures in the Tanakh, in as far as the continuity, but as far as going back to the culture, to the traditions, to the customs, you miss so much if you don't do that and look at the Hebrew, as we did with Notzir. It all comes alive. Let's look at another example. You talk in the book about Matthew chapter 8 in the healing of the leper, which is a very unique messianic sign. Talk about that.
Well, it is, and I think that's why it's not a coincidence that Matthew brings this up. It's not necessarily chronological order, but to him, as a first century Jew, this is an important piece of evidence about the claims of Yeshua. Leprosy, of course, was essentially the incurable disease of his day. Different forms we would call leprosy. And in fact, the Torah itself, the Bible itself says, you know, most people you're just going to have to put in leper colonies. It's in Leviticus 13, Leviticus 14. They cannot interact with the Jewish society. They cannot go to places of worship. So there's not much hope at all for a leper. And so it's understandable that one of the Jewish rabbinic views is that, well, it's just something we can't do much about, but when the Messiah comes, he will take care of all those diseases, including leprosy, the most dreaded one.
It's a hopeless condition, and they're banished from the community.
Yeah.
But the Messiah is the answer.
So when Yeshua is in Israel and encounters that leper in Matthew chapter 8, he doesn't shy away for ritual purity reasons, but he goes towards him. And, you know, there's even a beautiful story, by the way, if I can briefly say, what's in the Talmud, the rabbinic writings, I think illustrates the importance of this. It's a story about a rabbi who was walking down the road, and behold, he meets Elijah, the prophet. You know, it's a story. It's just to prove a point. But the rabbi is so taken, because Elijah, of course, is to announce the Messiah for us. He says, Elijah, this is beautiful. The Messiah must be close. Where is he? When is he coming? He says, well, why don't you go ask him yourself? And he says, well, how can I find him? Where can I ask him? He says, oh, you'll find him around the corner. He's with the lepers wrapping their bandages.
Beautiful.
Because, and then it says this in the rabbinic writing in Sanhedrin, quote, he took our diseases, he cured our infirmities.
Quoting Isaiah 53.
Isaiah 53 is the Messiah.
Fantastic.
So, you know, you read Matthew chapter 8 and you begin to realize, of course, it's a spectacular miracle, any healing like this, but I think to the first century Jewish community, and hopefully even today, that chapter is a messianic sign. It's a sign that Mashiach, the true Messiah, is here because he's taking the most incurable disease.
It knows that